corner, round and round, I'll be falling down and out of the top I fall. Black or white in the morning, papers come without warning. Sign your name on the dotted line. I know you think I've lost everything. Close your eyes as I run out dry. Inside out, out the middle, line by line, it's a riddle. Put your seat on the channel 4.
We went to America this time last year, just to check it out, see if we liked it. We did a few gigs out there and they seemed to like us, so we're going back April this year to try it again and force ourselves upon the American public, basically. And see if we can make a go of it out there, because we think our music probably goes down better out there than it does over here. Over in America, you know, they all love all that happiness and fun and love and stuff. So we think we're just... they're just suckers, basically. And there's more money over there. Places we played were really, really small places full of session musicians, and so we were a bit overwhelmed by it all. But there's a different reception over there too, especially British music.
You guys rock, man. You
Exactly.
rock.
A lot of that. A lot of that, so it's just very well put, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. It's like everything you see and hear and read or whatever about LA, all the plasticity of it, and
It's true.
it's true, totally and utterly true. You know, everybody's got false things, and
all the waitresses and barmen, they're all writing
actors,
plays,
yeah,
writing
everybody's got a script,
screenplays,
and they're so desperate. There's like loads of desperate people there, like, you know, and so it was good that we were only there for 3 months, because you could easily get sucked in.
All tell you how good you are, and you do believe them.
But all you could see is dollar signs in
stabbing
their
you in the
eyes.
back.
Like, you know,
Yeah,
it was the most. We met the most evil people on earth in Hollywood.
You do miss the cynicism and the sort of like the sarcasm of British humour. It's just...
Speak for yourself. I just think British people are kind of, there's a huge snobbery about, and a big deal about us being the best. I think that's a British mentality anyway. They forget that it's just fun at the end of the day. You know, pop music is about having fun, smiling and having a laugh. We'd be the first to admit we're not taking music to the next millennium, like, do you know what I mean? But they're just cracking pop tunes, you know? That's basically it, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Hello, this is Penarth's Washington Gallery, where the work of Swansea-based artist Sandy Welsh is on show. We'll be having a look at that in a little while. But first to London's West End and a play which opens in a couple of weeks' time. It's the in Cardiff next week, before we take a quick break at one of Hollywood's best-known music venues, the Viper Room, later this month. No, it's not Catatonia, the Stereophonics, the Manics, or the Super Furries. It's actually a band called the Scooters. They're Cardiff-based, and we went along to see them in the city's Royal Oak pub.
Americans love to rock, you know, and like I think they were kind of like shocked that like 3 guys could sing in harmony together, like, you know, and still kind of rock it as well, like, do you know what I mean? So that kind of freaked them out a bit.
Well, I also feel that, yeah, but I think we also needed the time that we had here playing in different, to progress as a band and to grow up, because we had a lot growing up to do, musically and within ourselves. So by the time we got out to LA, we was more of sort of ready to be a band and to get that deal in the end.
There was a load of blagging involved, like, you know, we phoned the White Room and said, hey, you know, we're over for it, and we're the biggest thing since sliced bread, whatever, and they were like, I've never heard of you. So yeah, we will, you know, and then they phoned back the next day and said, well, maybe you could do a Wednesday night. So we played the Wednesday night, and then they invite us back and invite us back, and so every time we go over now, like, they sort of, hey, the Scooters are back.
We've got, I think, six gigs in about 10 days. So we're just going to, you know, push it all the time, do the best gigs we can possibly do. That's all we can do, really. And then hopefully the big deal will come along and we can get out of here.
Every day I see the view, afraid to see it too, between the rocks so far and so I'm like a saint that wants to sin, visited where she's been, dive into the golden hole, no around for me
Another name to watch out for is Daniel Roberts. He's a young actor who's made a good start.
Dancing and DJs and like a lot of jamming, and we're just kind of, it's always just, we just jump around and go for it, and like it's a bit lively,
Energetic. So,
exciting,
notorious. Good laugh. It's good.
balloons.
Props, projections, big
It's
sound.
something worth seeing, I think. Worth buying.
They're kind of sweaty, energetic, go for it, rock and roll, crazy jamming shows.
Oh, oh.
Hey,
You're going to get paid loads of money for this.
loads of sugar lumps.
Going to be a rich donkey.
Don't be who people tell you to be yourself and be true to yourself, and be a
Yeah.
donkey if you feel like being a donkey, 'cause it's fine.
Donkeys are cool.
Grip, you better love and you'll shine. You better shine like the sun. You better be in your life now, baby. Better live till you go. Yeah, and you can hide in a place, and you can fly away home. You better talk to yourself now, baby. Better play with your toys. name is Johnny Duke. Yeah. Go tell him Johnny now. Yeah. You know you better. Yeah, you know you better. Yeah, you know you better. Yeah, you know you better. Bop shot up, bop shot up, bop shot up, dop, bop shot up, dip, dip, you better. Love and you shine, you better. Shine like the sun, you better. Be in your life now, baby, better. Live till you want.
It's an amazing place. It's just full of enthusiastic people and full of art and full of musicians, full of actors and full of everybody who, you know, it's just a big seething bed of talent.
You won't find any lazy people there. You know, everyone's determined because the competition is huge. Obviously, as soon as that's the first thing you realise, you get there, you go up onto the mountains, you look out onto LA, you think, oh my God, there's a million bands, there's a million actors, actresses. Everyone's trying to do exactly the same thing as I'm trying to do.
So for everybody that thinks like Los Angeles is all movie stars and glamorous parties and stuff, what would you say that was a justified statement or no?
Yes. They admire you for actually coming all the way out there.
Yeah,
to try and
of course,
do it.
yeah.
They think it's amazing. They think,
and they say like, oh, why are you doing it? And you're like, sort of, well, we sold everything we had, and you know, we gave up everything, left our jobs, and flew out. And they're like, oh my God, man, that is crazy. You know,
with an American accent.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good, actually.
Hello, I'm Tim. I'm the drummer from the Scooters. Hello, I'm Tim, the drummer from the Scooters. Hello, this is Tim from the Scooters.
I'll just nod my head.
Okay. Ah.
Is that the camera?
Hide behind a plastic sound. Dress me up in ego. Maybe this is our time. This is our time.
We were hungover by the time we sort of got over the Atlantic, I think. We were pretty rough.
We kind of lost it over Greenland.
Yeah.
Celebrating the best of the British all weekend.
Earth 101.
Here we are now in a van, after our first rehearsal. It's usually a nightmare, and I don't see any reason why this is going to be different.
First time we were out in LA, we walked everywhere. We didn't have any other way of getting around, basically, so walking around with our white legs and our T-shirts and our hankies on our heads, trying not to look like tourists.
Looking extremely Welsh.
We realised that no one walks in Los Angeles, so we got a bus.
Monstrosity of a thing.
That's more like a truck, really.
It was pretty big.
Big white Chevy.
Chevy, Chevy, I love when you fall down.
Go, baby.
Which I crashed 3 times.
Whoa! Great, man.
Well done.
Thanks very
No
much. Well,
problem.
Simon crashed it once. I can't take all the credit.
Gonna sort that acceleration out.
I misjudged the width of the thing and sideswiped another vehicle, which was quite exciting. We had to call the LAPD and everybody.
You took pictures.
Yes.
Well, we should take some pictures today.
Yeah, come on, Papa.
You little sod, you. Bob.
I'm usually navigating, which is usually gets us there, but sometimes it doesn't, does it?
So, boys, where we this next cross street is
Santa Monica Boulevard.
We've been there like 5 times now, 4 or 5 times.
How many times? And no salesperson will call. So for that homeowner loan, call.
Bob completely amazes me.
I know
every
my
time
way
we go,
around. Nobody
yeah.
else does, but I can
Yeah,
get
Bob
you
knows his
from
way
you know
around.
Santa Monica to Hollywood like that.
Hang on, that's it there, isn't it? Isn't that a studio there?
You're the one that said that the Scooters were going to be bigger than the Beatles and Oasis combined. Isn't that true?
I don't see how we can fail to be. You know, we got better songs, we're better looking, we dress better, and yeah, the Beatles are crap. And
prove it. Give me time.
The most beautiful harmony is.
The last time we played there, we flew straight in and did the Viper Room on the first night.
It's kind of a weird contrast after coming from Cardiff to suddenly playing in the Viper Room or whatever. So rather than do that this time, we want to sort of get a good sort of warm-up, really.
the idea was to go and play a few shows that weren't in Los Angeles just to get warmed up and get the machine well oiled for the major.
Lubricated.
The first one was very memorable because it was a place called
the Roadhouse, and it was just like the biggest dive.
House on the road, wasn't it?
House
Right
on
by
the road.
freeway.
I don't think I've ever played anything like that in my life.
We're not really bothered, were we?
No, it's just a dress rehearsal.
There was just about 6 or 7 Mexicans, like gang members, just playing pool. That's all there was in this room. We were like, okay, here we go. Just like Blues Brothers with the chicken wire and stuff, but without the chicken wire.
Without the chicken wire.
1 2 1 2 2 2 2 1 2.
They were sort of tapping their guns and getting into it and swinging their bandanas on their heads.
I don't think we were the ideal sort of band for what was going on that night, were we?
The way I gaze it is that nobody threw anything at us, so we must have.
They clapped, didn't they, at the end?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know what happened that night, man.
I think you came close to death. It was horrible.
Yeah.
I had to have many beers to calm myself.
The PA system was like so terrible that in the band I sing all the high harmonies, you know, so if you can't hear yourself sing, it's like screaming at the top of your voice for about an hour. So you're bound to develop a bit of a headache after so long. But I'd never had one this bad, and I just came, and I like practically passed out tonight. Yeah, so I was there I was outside the Roadhouse. My brain was trying to escape through my ears.
It was scary.
It was horrible.
Meanwhile, we were getting free beer from Tito Jackson's, mate. But we were worried.
Yeah, I know.
It served its purpose as a stepping stone in between sort of playing in Cardiff pubs to playing in the Hollywood clubs. So it was,
Yeah, it was just
like
a
leapfrog up, up a step.
It was kind of like playing in the valleys, isn't it?
Or the Bristol Hotel.
No offence to the valleys people. I just slit my own throat, shall I? A quick look around Venice Beach. Come on, man.
Congratulations if you're going to use that camera. I think it's great. Gives people a chance to express themselves. Not bad.
I only gave him $1. I feel a bit bad, actually.
You play with your brother in this band.
I do.
Yeah. You like him?
Yeah,
Well, your brother's like the sort of the intellectual one of the two, right?
yeah, he's a bit.
I mean, people, they say you're like kind of the, you know...
What am I?
Well...
Tim's not too intelligent, but he's good with his fists. You know? Well, I don't mean any disrespect to you there, but, you know...
There's Hollywood High School. Imagine coming to school here.
Do you want to do this?
No, you go on, Bob. I'm bitter.
That's okay. Yeah, we met Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff shares the same manager as us.
He very kindly allowed me to use his piano when he wasn't using it, which was great. It's twice now he's done that.
He plays in a jazz quartet.
Quintet, is it?
Quintet, quartet.
Yeah.
I'd never know the difference.
You'd much rather play piano, I think, than act in films. It's almost like that's his day job and that's how he sort of finances his music.
And John, our manager, manages the jazz band. So he just invited us up to the house and to have a little bash, like, you know.
On the breakdown verse?
John didn't want us all to sort of descend on Jeff's house, so Tony and I went up with John.
He lives kind of like up in the hills, so we drove up there on Sunday afternoon, me and Simon.
But we weren't allowed, we weren't invited there.
No.
And that was quite overwhelming meeting him. He's so tall and you know,
It's quite surreal, actually.
he came down with these jeans and leather jacket and shades on, the ultimate sort of rock star look, really.
What are we playing? Whatever. Really?
We just started off playing some jazz stuff.
And I know nothing about jazz.
So we were just jamming along, really struggling.
Nature Boy. You like Nature Boy? Really?
I don't know that tune.
Kind of Latin.
That you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return.
And Simon's like, you know, a great pianist, but he knows nothing about jazz either. So he was kind of like jamming all these old jazz standards, and me and Simon just kind of like, yeah.
Great.
Nice.
Every so often I was thinking, oh God, I'm on the piano here with Jeff Goldblum. It was just like crazy. And I couldn't stop laughing. He was playing all these crazy things and singing to himself.
Messing about, really, like, you know, he was playing a bit of jazz, and then we ended up jamming a monkey song, because
That's all we know.
Because that's all we know.
He looked at Tony and said, you can be Davy Jones and I could be Mike Nesmith. And then he said to himself, well, who am I going to be?
And we were like, Jeff, you could just be Jeff, I suppose.
And then with that, then we were playing Last Train to Clarksville. I was sort of jamming on the piano and he had a drum kit and he was just thrashing away on this drum kit and Tony was singing with a tambourine going crazy. Tony and I had a reality check for a bit.
It was like the most surreal thing I've ever done in my life. I think we had to come up, we stepped outside and me and Sam were like, did we just do that? It was like weird. But it was really cool. He was a really great guy. You didn't meet him?
I did meet him actually the next
you
night.
did on Monday.
Yeah,
but you didn't have that close bond that me and Jeff
he
had.
didn't know me as well.
We were
as he knew me,
bonding,
but, yeah.
you know?
We went to see him play in his little jazz combo. And we shook his hand. He's very tall.
That's when the rest of you met
Oh,
him. Yeah. No, he was like, he came over the break and he was like, Anthony, Simon. We were like, Jeff.
Oh, and RoboCop is his trumpet player. Which I was very impressed about. We didn't meet him either.
Yeah.
You probably did, didn't you?
Superman on drums.
Whoopi Goldberg on Triangle West. It's quite a celebrity-filled band.
Santa Barbara, we're here. Welcome to Club Ranchero Malchero. Just here to sing a little song for last night's show. We played in Santa Monica on a pier. It was a record industry bash thrown by MCA Records. And we supported a young lady, an English girl with an American accent from New York. Her name was Leona Ness. And to be honest with you, I thought we flew her off the stage. Literally. Among many industry people in the crowd was a lady called Diana Ross. She told Tim that she really loved our show. And she hopes that we go a long way. Yeah, we did one show at a place called Arcadia, which is a club on Santa Monica Pier. And we finished sound checking. I looked up and I saw this big, massive hair, and it was Diana Ross. So I was quite surprised at that, because I'm like a bit of a Motown freak. The boys will back me up on this. You know, I like Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, all that kind of music. So I was quite chuffed that, like, you know, a Motown superstar was one of our gigs. You know.
That was crazy. Actually,
It was,
you don't expect it. We didn't speak to her, we didn't dare, but you could see her. Massive hair. Like crystal tips.
You couldn't get within about 10 feet of her though, could you?
No, because of her hair.
Yeah.
You definitely know you're playing in LA. Because even the audience are like sort of...
They're there for a reason, and the reason is to see the band, you know. I mean, the out-of-town gigs, we were just playing at the venue where we happened to be the band. There were other things going on.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
you played to, like, out of town, you're playing to, like, farmers and God knows what.
Yeah.
But in LA, you're playing to, like, you know, people who are musicians and people who are, you know, people who are in the business, you know.
Now this evening, we're playing at a gig in Silver Lake at a place called Spaceland, which is famous for, among others, Beck. So, hopefully it's going to go as good as the last show, even better maybe.
Well, Spaceland is it's quite a hip club to go to. It's in Silver Lake, and it's kind of got this real cool sort of arty crowd.
A real sort of musician's place. It's got a real sort of edge to it.
As opposed to the Viper Room in Hollywood, which is kind of a glamorous kind of image.
The Viper Room seems more like a showroom, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. People like Beck started off at Spaceland.
Cooler than any other club we played in so far, so hopefully it's going to be good. Well, it was a complete contrast for a start.
We had loads of room on the stage, and we were just
jump
really,
around a bit.
you know, making the most of the space. And we sounded good, and there was a good atmosphere of the crowd.
Whatever you want to.
If you're sort of like a jangly pop harmony guitar band, and playing like basically guitar pop, which is what we do at Spaceland, I thought we were going to get like roasted, but they really enjoyed it.
They were so together though as a band, like really together, like just like they must have like rehearsed like loads.
They booked us back there. Next time we go out in July, I think.
Scooters rock, man. They rock.
And then the Viper Room is, you know, we've got such a rapport with Sal at the Viper Room anyway. What's that, fourth time he's played there now? Yeah. Every time we go back there, we get treated like kings. Like every time he's like so good to us.
To start things off tonight, the pride of Wales, ladies and gentlemen, the Scooters.
It's one of the best show we've done.
I think, yeah, it was the best Viper show we've done.
I think it was the best show of the 2 weeks we did. written a new song just before we went over, which we kind of sort of getting around arranging the first week we were there.
I think it'd be good to break away from the say, way, take.
We'd written the music before we'd flown over.
Whoa! No, if I went away.
On that end, please.
But usually with us, we're so pathetically lazy that we can't sit down and work out some words that mean anything. What about the thing about like disappearing?
Keep that.
If I disappeared.
Keep that part.
If I disappeared,
Would I be revered?
see, yeah, I like that. See? So it got to the final hour, like it.
If I was a plank, would I be dainty fucking wanker? If I was a plank, would I be wanker?
So like Chris hurried outside and like got him down in about 10 minutes flat, which has got to be a record.
Your lens kept us on.
Thought so. What do you think of the studio, Joe?
These are new studios. We're in the usual ones. They're over on Hollywood and Vine, but these look like apartments. They just like sort of put together, and they don't look like they're finished. If you take a look at their box. So as you can see,
It's a bit of a building site, really, isn't it?
a bit of a shoebox. This studio, if anything.
Anyway, you will persevere.
We'll persevere. You know,
We'll see how it
you gotta
goes.
do what you got to do.
Right then.
Eric owns the studio where we did our demo out there, Bones into Ashes.
It's a great song, amazing melody. I don't know how those guys do it. I went out and saw them the last time they were here, and they were leaving too soon, so we couldn't get them into the studio. So this time, John Master and I arranged to get them into the studio for sure while they were here, and you know, so it's great. I'm looking forward to seeing the shows, and hopefully we'll get something out of this day of recording.
It's John Mastro.
Manager to the stars.
Do you hear his accent? Come on, John. Bob Scorsese. I couldn't hear the bloody words.
John Mastro, our LA manager, he's a very keen musician as well. He's been in the business a while.
2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 on these guys. And forget this guy. Same beat as your snare beat.
He got all our gigs for us when we were out there and looked after us, put us up, found us places to stay, hired the van, basically did everything.
As managers do.
As managers do.
Absolutely.
He looks strikingly like Barry Manilow.
He'll kill you for that, man.
Well, he does, though.
He looks more of a kind of a cool Al Pacino sort of gangster type. I bet he'd rather be described like that.
You deny him, he doesn't look like that.
I'm not getting into this.
But when you go into it, don't hit the 1 anymore. You see, don't crash the cymbal on the 1. It's almost like a stop in a way. It's like, you know, you're going along 1, 2, 3, 4.
So he wanted to try us out, and he did a bit of production work on that, and Eric then recorded it at his studio, and that was good. We actually had the luxury of spending a decent amount of time in the studio. He was a friend of ours. He really wanted to make the most of the opportunity while we were there.
You can even just do the 2s and forget the 4s, you know what I mean? If you just be, you know, I've been down, crashed,
And it turned out a beautiful little...
Nice little ditty.
Nice little ditty.
Do it straight the first time. I haven't got this, John.
We had a few arguments with him, didn't we? We got into a bit of a bust-up
Well, it
with him.
was good. It was sort of a getting to know each other, getting to know each other's limits and how to treat each other, because we hadn't really spent that much time with John before.
Just do a beat, right? Do a beat.
We had a few feisty rows, and John's like your typical New Yorker, and he won't back down for no one. Neither will we, so it was interesting. Yeah, it's a great song. Really good. Really sort of... what's the word I'm looking for?
Oh, it's got pizzazz.
It's got a bit of pizzazz.
It's got that sort of LA sunshine
Sun-kissed
sound to it.
the office.
Last time we played at Eric's, we invited about 40 people over to the studio and we played and we ended up jamming. And we had a brilliant time, the atmosphere was great and the songs were sounding great. So this time we thought we'd actually set up the gear, go and get drunk basically, come back come back and then Booyakasha, we'd play and record it all. So we did.
I'll say that some disguise get them thinking that you're worldly and you're wise. It's kind of clever, but then so aloof. In your pocket is the answer and the truth. I got proof.
And we had 22 songs on CD, which is coming over. I think he sent it already, didn't he, this week?
It's in the post.
It's in the post.
An extract from an old paperback that you gave me. Just an extract.
One of the best bands ever. They touched me, they moved me. I was moved and I was touched. And then we went for some drinks. Top night out.
Hi, my name is Jim, and I'm from the New Radicals. I just saw the Scooters play, and they rock, man! The best! Woo! Give it up!
Yeah, the New Radicals were there, man.
Jimmy and Brad.
Jimmy and Brad.
Bob's mate Brad.
I'm Brad from the New Radicals, and the Scooters rock. So you guys got to check them out.
They're friends of like Eric's, who owns the studio. And they've been to see a few gigs before, and they were like, man, you guys, you know, his songs are so good and whatever. And we were like, oh, cool. So they came along to the party, and in the end, they were like,
let's write songs
together.
Wow. So can't we bowling Friday?
Yeah. Nothing interrupts our bowling. Bowling was the highlight of my tour, you know, because...
I've never seen you so happy, actually.
I know, it was like unbelievable. Okay, here we are at the Hollywood Star Lanes, where they filmed The Big Lebowski. The Big Lebowski is like my favourite film ever. And it's all based around this bowling alley, like, you know, it's called the Hollywood Star Lanes. So we went bowling there on a Sunday night, and me and Bob were just like, we walked in and we were like, oh my God, man, we're in the dudes' lanes. Just look out for the dudes. It was like the coolest. Well, you go to get the deal, don't you? You know, you go to play in these places. Like, you could spend a lot of money, like bands like spend a lot of money on making demos and getting the demos as good as they can, but like, I think the band stands at best when it's live. You just gotta like go out and play and then hope for the best, you know? So it was really good. We had a great time, you know?
We learned a lot about how to play and how to be more professional as musicians and how to handle yourself with people.
And how not to drink before
right, yeah,
you go on stage.
Big shows. Yeah.
Absolutely, Robert.
On the other side, there was no real A&R interest, which was a bit of a downer from the last trip.
If you can put yourself in the best place possible in the world, you know, to get the most powerful people or the most influential people interested in you, then, well, that's what we did, you know.
I'm not sure what's going to come of that.
Who knows?
Don't care if I get nowhere.
It's so difficult. Like, there's like 1 trillion bands in LA.
Don't care if it don't seem fair.
Yeah, it was good though, wasn't it? It was, you know, I think we had the best fun that we've had in LA.
Fun was important though, wasn't it?
Next, we just got back from a grueling tour of the States and Canada where they went down an absolute storm. It's not surprising, really. It's Cardiff's very own The Scooters with This Is How It Ends.
So this is how it ends. Man against machine. It's the finest fist fight the world has ever seen. You should have stayed at home, but your loyalty is torn. Living after midnight, rocking till the dawn. Sitting at your throne, looking mighty brave. If you leave me alone, I'll jump into your grave. Times have changed, just around the bend. This is how it ends. Then a crowd begins to form to see you at your best. The multitude of late nights has put you to the test. You're a cold and empty shell left upon the shelf, boxing with the shadows of a former self. The higher that you climb, the further you will fall. Traveling through time doesn't hurt at all. Times have changed, just around the bend. This is how it ends. And people come and people go. Some of them I got to know. Others fall right through my net. It's something that I won't regret. If you will remember me, in your eyes I'd want to be a man that grew up big and proud. I'm living fast, I'm living loud. Traveling through time doesn't hurt at all. The time's about to change, just around the bend. This is how it ends, right where we began. This is how it ends.
Cheers, boys. What a brilliant performance.